Hi guys, my name is Midlik and I am a professional makeup artist in Sandy Hook, Connecticut, and I'm here at the Newtown Bee today to share with you a Valentine's Day makeup tutorial which is inspired by the Victoria's Secret Angels. So the first thing I did was prime my face with a MAC Mineralized Time Check Lotion, and I let this sit in my face for about 20 minutes before doing my makeup. But for my foundation, I'm going to start with the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick Foundation, and I am in the shade 117 or Y225. And this is a great option for if you have normal to dry skin because it is a dewier finish, and their liquid formula of this is good for combination to oily skin. So you just swipe a little on and then blend it out with a dampened beauty blender. And I'll just add a little bit more on the center of my face because that's where I get the most redness and discoloration. I'm going to start with my eyes, and I'm going to prime my lids with the MAC Painterly Paint Pot, and I'm just going to use my finger to apply this. So then I'm going to take a bone colored eyeshadow. This is Vanilla from MAC, and this is more of a satin matte finish, so there's not shimmer or a sheen to it. I'm just going to apply this to the brow bone and kind of to the beginning of my crease, and this just sets that cream so it doesn't make the transition color hard to blend out. Transition shade, I'm going to be using Bamboo from MAC, which is this shade. It's a couple shades darker than my skin tone, and it has no shimmer or sheen, so it's just a matte shadow. So I use this matte brown shade to just transition, which helps any darker colors blend out smoother. So you don't want any harsh lines or anything, you just want it to be really blended out and really smooth looking. So this just helps everything blend without getting stuck to that initial cream shadow we put on, which will help the lid color stick on. Then I'm going to take a smaller, fluffier brush. This is the 217 from MAC. It's a little bit narrower than the first one, and I'm going to take a little bit of a darker shade. So this is Saddle from MAC. You could use whatever shade you want if you want to change up the color. That's totally fine. And I'm just going to put this on the outer corner of the eye and kind of blend it up into the crease, but focus it a little bit onto the lid and just keep blending. For the lid color, I'm going to be using the ColourPop Metallic Lovely. This is a super shock shadow. So this is kind of like a mousse texture, and I just put it on with my finger, and I apply this to the lid of the eye. And I just apply this with my finger because it just applies the most pigment, and it's the easiest way to get this mousse formula on the eye. And this is just going straight on the lid and into the inner corner. And then I'm going to take that initial blending brush with nothing else on it, and I'm just going to blend out that color in the crease so there's no lines. So for the next step, I'm going to be taking Costa Riche eyeliner from MAC, and I'm going to line the upper lash line with this. So I'm just going to really lightly get it as close to the lashes as possible. I don't want a really thick line, and I don't want it to be obvious. I'm going to smudge it out with my finger so it's just really smoky and just really lightly defines the lashes. So using a pencil just creates a really soft, smudgy line, so you really can't mess up. It's not as intense as a winged liner, so it's just a really easy and fast way to define the lash line and make your lashes look thicker and a little longer. So now I'm going to jump back to my face, and I'm going to do a little color correcting and concealing, and I'm going to use the Prep and Prime stick from MAC, and this is in the shade Radiant Rose, and I'm just going to apply this underneath the eyes. And this just brightens if you didn't really get any sleep and you have a lot of darkness under your eyes. This will cancel that out because the pink tone just cancels out blue and purple across the color wheel. So then I'm going to use the yellow shade, and I'm going to put this on any redness that I get, so around my nose, on any blemishes I might have, on the chin, and down the center of the face, and then the center, just because I get really red on my cheeks. And then I'm not even going to blend that out yet. I'm just going to apply the concealer right on top. It kind of all mixes together. So this is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. This is in Light Warm and Medium Light. I mix both of them just to get my perfect shade. So I'm going to just dot this right underneath the eyes and on any blemishes and down the center of the face. And this is the lighter shade, so this just helps brighten up any spots. I use a little bit of the less of the darker color just because I'm not that tan. And I just put this underneath the eyes and a little bit around the face. And then I blend everything out with my Dampen Beauty Blender. And this going around the eye just really helps clean up the shape of the shadow, so that's why I like to wait and do my concealer until I'm done with the shadows, because it just sharpens up that area. So to make everything last all night long, I'm going to be baking, and if you don't know what this is, it's taking a loose powder and letting it sit on the skin. So I'm going to take this on the Beauty Blender and press this underneath my eyes and all the way up to the temples. And this just really helps lock in that concealer, and it prevents creasing and fading, so it just really lasts all night long. It's worth it if you want your makeup to last for hours without any touch-ups. So I'm just going to put this wherever I put that concealer and where I want it to stay bright. And for the rest of my face, I'm going to set it with MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Light, and I'm just going to use a big fluffy brush, and I'm just going to buff this in. So buffing the powder into your skin is just going to create a barrier between the foundation and your bronzer and blush so you don't get patchy, and this just helps everything blend out a little bit better. So you just kind of set a light layer on your face, and then your blush, bronzer, and highlight will all blend really seamlessly into the foundation instead of just sticking to where it was first put. For bronzer, I'm going to be using the NARS Laguna bronzer, and this is a great shade if you are on the paler side because it does not turn orange. And I'm just going to apply this to the cheekbones. And if you don't know what contouring is, you use a ashy toned powder, so it could be like this but a little on the grayer side, and it just creates shadows, so it's kind of to shape the face in a different way. But I just add the bronzer to the perimeter of my face. So my forehead, my cheeks, and I always go down underneath the jawline and I bring it down my neck so everything blends. Just really blend this in. And I do a little bit on my nose, so wherever the sun would normally hit you is the highest points of your face, and that's where you want to add your bronzer. Now for blush, I'm going to be using a kind of bronzy, like pinkish tone. This is Warm Soul from MAC, and it's just a really great shade when you're kind of doing like a Victoria's Secret look, because they don't have these bright pink cheeks. This is just a little bit more natural. So you just apply this to the apples, and if you don't know where the apples of your cheeks are, you just smile, and it's that part that sticks up. And I always put a little bit extra on, and then I'm going to blend it out with that powder brush that we used earlier. I'm going to go back in with a very light dusting of this powder, get all the extra off so there's barely anything on here really. And I'm just going to blend together that bronzer, blush, and wipe away that extra powder underneath the eyes. And you just blend in circular motions around the face, and this really melts all of the products in together. I'm going to jump back to the eye area. I'm going to apply my mascara. This is the Lights Camera Lashes by Tarte, and I just really like the way this volumizes and keeps my lashes curled all day long. So I'm just going to apply a coat of this to my upper lashes. So I've applied my mascara on the top, and now I'm going to go onto my brows. So I always skip around the face, but this is just a clear brow gel from MAC, but you can get them anywhere. This drugstore has a ton of different kinds. And I tint my eyebrows because they're pretty non-existent if I don't, and so this just makes getting ready a lot faster and easier. And if there's any spots that are a little sparse, I will go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, and this is in the shade Taupe, which is like the perfect shade for really blonde hair. And I'd like to do this when my brows are still wet from the gel because it just gives a really natural look. And I just really lightly go on the outer tail and a little bit in the arch in just really short motions, and this just mimics the look of hair. So I'm going to take that first really light brown that we used and then just on a really short, dense brush, and I'm just going to pop this underneath the lower lash line all the way from the outer corner to the inner corner. And this just helps make the look a little more completed, so it's not just like all this shadow on the top and nothing on the bottom. It kind of just evens out the weight of the look. And then I'm going to take that second brown that we used that's a shade or two darker than the first, and I'm just going to apply this on the outer half of the lower lash line. So this actually opens up the eye because you're not going all the way in. If you're using dark colors, you want to keep it more on the outer corner because the darker shades will close in and make things look smaller. So if you bring in a dark color all the way to the inside, it's going to make your eyes look a lot smaller. So I like to make my eyes look big and wide, so I just put this on the outer corner of the eye. And then this is a little optional step. This is a pigment from MAC. This is in the shade Vanilla. So I like to use this with a wet brush, so you could get your brush wet with water, or I have the MAC Fix Plus. You just spray the brush with this and dip it into the pigment, and I just tap it on the back of my hand to get off the extra powder that might fall. I'm just going to spray it again while it's on the brush and just kind of work that into my hand and create a little bit of like a paste. And this I'm going to pop on the very inner corner of the eye. So this is called the tear duct, and I'm just going to pop it right here. And this just opens the eye up a lot because it's a lighter shade. So for the bottom lash line, I'm going to be using a different mascara. This is MAC Extend and Play, and I like this because it's a water-resistant formula, so it won't flake or smudge underneath the eye, and the brush is really, really small, so it just makes getting those lashes a lot easier than using a big chunky brush. Final touch on the eyeshadow look is going to be a little bit of a cream colored eyeliner on the waterline. So this is just going to help really brighten and open up the eye. I just really like that the cream color looks a lot more natural, and it just gives this really bright eyed look. So this just goes right in the waterline. So for a final touch, I'm going to just add a little bit of a highlighter. This is the Too Faced Candlelight Glow. I like this because it's not an actual glitter based highlighter, it's just a light sheen. And it's a cream and a pink that you mix together, or you could use either side, and this just looks a really natural kind of highlight. So I just really lightly dust it on the high points of my face. So I'm just going to use this Oak lip liner from MAC. It's, I think, the lightest brown that they have, and I'm just going to really lightly go over my lip line, and this just helps define your lips. And then for the lipstick, this is my all-time favorite from MAC. I've gone through like 6 tubes of this, I think. This is Japanese Maple, and this is a perfect nude for lighter skin tones. So it's a peachier tone. It doesn't have pink in it. Thank you guys so much for watching this Valentine's Day makeup look. My name is Nina Midlik, and if you want to learn more about this look, then pick up the February 3rd print edition of the Newtown Bee.